welcome to Lunch with Carole. I'm so happy to see my friend Brian J. And he is one of the most positive forces you will meet in the Milwaukee area. And he's a real fan of the arts. He's a film critic for TV, radio. You're a writer, producer, and you even majored in journalism, right?
Yes.
Which is good. So it's helped you, and you've also been on the Morning Blend many times with really important information about some of the greatest movies that we should see.
Yes, I just celebrated 10 years of weekly appearances on the Morning Blend. I've been on TMJ4 News Saturday mornings for, I think, weekly for about 6 years now.
Yeah.
So I'm, a peripheral part of the family and very honored to be so. I mean, I lived in New York for 13 years before coming back to Milwaukee growing up here. But, just knowing the legend of Carole Meekins and getting to be like a peripheral colleague of yours. And I'll never forget the first time you and I got to work together on TMJ4 News set. I was talking about some Oz project several years ago, and you are just so kind and so cool. And honestly, you are exactly who you are off air is who we see you to be on air, and you're just everybody's best friend.
Thank you. A little wacky, but a little abnormal, but I just have fun and I love people. And I really love people that appreciate the arts, Ryan. And I'm so excited because you told me about something that I really didn't know much about, a theater company right here and on the south of Milwaukee, the Forte Theater Company. And this is in Franklin, and you have some exciting news to talk about.
Yes. So, I spend all these years sharing with audiences on radio and television my thoughts and opinions about entertainment and what you should do. And like you, Carole, I grew up in the theater and have done a lot of musicals in the past. Said goodbye to it, in my case, 30 years ago, and never thought I would return to the stage, and had an opportunity to audition for The Sound of Music at Forte Theater Company. And they chose me to be Max Detweiler in this upcoming production. And I've learned so much about Forte Theater Company. First of all, if I can share with you who's behind it and how it all started, is
Yes, I'd love to hear
magnificent.
that.
So Forte Theater Company is bringing professional theater to the suburbs. If you want to see pro theater, you have Milwaukee Rep, you've got Skylight in downtown Milwaukee, but the suburbs don't really have much of that. There's some community theater, some volunteer theater in the periphery. But what Forte is doing is more on the level of the Rep and Skylight. They're in Franklin, and it was co-founded by Randall and Brenda Dodge, who are the most charismatic, multi-talented, arts-loving, passionate theater lovers that I've met. And they were living in San Diego, incredibly successful there, created some programs there for youth in the arts, and had children of their own, and decided to move their family, relocate to Wisconsin to be closer to other family, and then create this and continue building upon their passion. And Forte Theater Company does several different things. First, they're in their third season, and they do main stage shows. In this case, we're doing The Sound of Music upcoming in October, and then in the early next year, they're doing Into the Woods. They also do youth theater program where they do junior shows. So they have Disney's High School Musical and The Music Man coming up in that upcoming season for kids. But what Randall and Brenda also have done is just magnificent. And what really inspires me, because I think back to my childhood here in Milwaukee and what theater meant to me, and how it was an outlet that saved me at a time when I was bullied for being, an effeminate kid and a little bit different. And this was, of course, in the 80s, or the pre-Glee on TV days, right? And theater as an outlet, I really believe, saved my life. And what I love that Forte does, in addition to this incredible programming available at such a reasonable cost to audiences, they have this Character Kids program, which is an after-school theater program for kids and elementary students. And it's all over the Milwaukee area throughout the school year. They also do a summer camp program, and they have a branch they run in San Diego. They have a branch they're opening in Minneapolis. And it's a way to bring out the best in children with really teaching teamwork and empathy, confidence through theater games. So it's so much fun.
I love that.
Yeah, it's incredible. I have so much respect for what they're doing, and it's I'm a big cheerleader of the arts, right? I mean, I do the Art Beat segment on the Morning Blend. I'm talking about movies and TV, and so I think of myself almost more of a cheerleader than as a critic sometimes, because I just love all of the theater in Milwaukee.
Well, it's so important. And, Ryan, I think a lot of people who have not experienced the aesthetic feeling of being in a play, a musical, a choir, a band, really are missing out. And sometimes I feel bad for people who don't know how to get that feeling. And I tell you, I miss it on a daily basis as someone who was in a lot of musicals, mainly in the choir. I was never the lead or anything, but I loved it. And it brought us all together. And I think it's so important for young people to experience this.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, when Brenda Dodge, I was speaking with her, and she's the executive director and producer of Forte Theater. Her husband, Randall, does the same and is also directing. And he's a star, by the way. Can I tell you, years ago, I saw Randall in a production at the Fireside. He played Hook and Peter Pan at the Fireside. I've seen him at Skylight opposite our very own Andrew Varela, as Judge Turpin in Sweeney Todd. And I have been a big fan of Randall's, just, as an artist for so long, and getting to see him direct now is amazing. But yeah, I think what Brenda was talking about, her passion and working with children, and why she doesn't leave it behind, because it would be so easy, right, to just focus on the shows they're producing. But what they're bringing to children, again, like the experience for you in the arts, and the experience for me, and the experience they're creating, because at a time where sometimes arts is less funded now than it was previously, or sports, we are a big sports state and city, wow, and we've got the best sports teams in the world, if you ask us, right? But right, we also have some of the best talent singing and dancing and performing music and creating programming too. It's just so much here. So I love that people are bringing that to the next generation.
Yeah, I think any exposure to the arts really elevates a human being. And I'm such a proponent. I'm like you, I'm a cheerleader, and I'm sort of like a failed musician, theater actress or whatever, but it is so important. And I love the fact, Ryan, that it's right here in our own backyard. A lot of people don't have easy access to the arts or performing or practicing, but this gives a lot of people an opportunity that they may not be able to have otherwise.
It's very true. And, sometimes people don't want to venture downtown. And what I love about Franklin, it's like, I haven't spent a lot of time in Franklin. It's not like I've gone shopping there, we're not choosing to go to dinner there and stuff. But as I'm spending time there, and first of all, this theater where we're doing The Sound of Music is at the Sabre Center for the Performing Arts. It is state of the art. It's recently renovated. It is exquisite. And it is just minutes off I-43. It is right by, we've all been to the IKEA in Oak Creek. It is minutes. It's like 2 minutes off the highway, just west of the IKEA in Oak Creek. So, it's that simple to get to and to enjoy theater at a brilliant level. I mean, I can't speak for myself yet, Carole, but the cast, even the kids in this production, hearing them rehearse, I'm like, these kids are so talented, singing all these iconic songs that we all know and love. You mentioned to me earlier in an email that you love The Sound of Music. It's one of your favorite shows.
Well, Rodgers and Hammerstein, and all, the music and just the story. And it always, all of the musicals, especially the older ones that we have watched all our lives, just give us a feeling of hope and transform us and make us feel better about life. And I think that's what we all need today.
It's
for many different reasons.
It's so true. It's partly why I think you and I have a meeting of the minds, and we're maybe soul sisters in a way, because I love what you do with Positively Milwaukee. We're so inundated where news and everything, not locally, but national news seems to be sensationalized, that it's so great to celebrate the humanity among us, the goodness that connects us all. And music certainly is a universal language, right? In a way that elevates storytelling.
I think all of the arts, and I often say to people in the newsroom, I can honestly tell when someone has had any exposure to any arts, even if it was just a little while, whether it's ballet, dance, photography, visual arts, because there's a certain way that you approach life. And I think that is very important. But I'm so excited about this, and I'm excited about your role. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, are the people that work there, you also have a lot of volunteers that actually help to get everything up and running at the Forte Theater Company, correct, Rob?
I believe there's some volunteers, but again, as unlike a community theater, Forte is a professional theater, so the actors are paid, and the crew members and your set designers, they're all paid. So it's less of a volunteer basis than what we.
I just happened to see the little tab when I went to the website.
Oh, yes, you're welcome to. I don't know specifically, but I mean, maybe volunteers may help with.
But that's and to be paid. Yes, I did it for free all through college.
Yes, as have I. We've all done that. We all pay our dues in one way or another, and it's great. Not to get anything away, I'm excited. I love shows at at community theaters around town, and I support those and promote them and love to review them as well. I mean, again, we just have so much talent. That's the thing. You know what I've always said, Carole, and agree or disagree with me, I welcome you here. I've always believed this about Milwaukee. We've got the greatest city, and if we had weather, you know, and I like winter. I love scarves and sweaters and a puffy coat. But if we had weather like LA, Carole, I think we would be the most overpopulated city in the country.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. And I just wish people weren't so into the weather for their lives, because I don't let the weather dictate my mood.
Yeah.
I am happy whether I love a rainy day, I love a snowy day, because it's all a part of the cycle of nature and the cycle of life. So, you know, some people are a little too, it's got to be warm or sunny or I'm not happy. I'm, you know, hey, we only have so many days on earth. But Ryan, I'm just thrilled to talk to you, and I'm excited about your part and The Sound of Music. And can you tell people when it starts, when it premieres, and when they'll be able to see it?
I'd love to. There's only 6 performances, and I you know, sometimes I wish there were more, but 6 performances is great. That we are doing it October 7th through the 16th, and there's 3 shows each weekend, and it is again in Franklin, Wisconsin, just by the Oak Creek IKEA. And if you go to fortetheater.org for tickets, or you can go to my website, ryanjreviews.com, and I've got a link there to fortetheatercompany.org. And so, yeah, check out your tickets. Come. I mean, again, come see the kids, come see the music, come see me fall on my face or work my hardest. I mean, as long as you're having a good time, I'm happy, you know?
Well, you know, and that's what it's all about. And, you know, the arts, not only is this going to bring people together, but this is good family fun that people can be assured that you can bring everybody, grandma, your little children, and they'll enjoy it. So absolutely, it's something we need. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for being my guest on Lunch with Carole. I think I heard a lot of future positively Milwaukee stories in what you just told me today. So I hope so. I'm glad for all the information, and thank all of you for joining me for Lunch with Carole. We'll see you the week after next for another Lunch with Carole. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you, darling.
Thanks, Carole.
Love you.
Love you too.